Hi everybody, let's learn how to use the select pane and the transform pane to fix a problem that's in a table. What we're looking at here is Manifold Future. This also works in Future Viewer, so you can try it in Future Viewer for free. That's a free download, no strings attached. And what we're looking at here is a table that shows the locations of coin hoards that have been found in Europe, given the latitude and longitude for each coin hoard, the year it's found, and what it contained. Now, what a coin hoard is it's a packet of coins, typically, that's been buried at some time in the past, often by, say, soldiers just before a battle, which was not reclaimed by its owner and persisted through the centuries, buried until it was found by archaeologists or somebody else. This particular database is a set of coin hoards that date back to Carolingian times, that is, the age of Charlemagne. And archaeologists love finding coin hoards because you can date the coins very accurately. They don't particularly care whether they're valuable or not. They just care that you can date them very precisely, and that can be used to give a sense of trade patterns or other sorts of events. Now, this particular table we're trying to fix is right here in the country field, where some of the countries are fully spelled out, like Netherlands, Switzerland, France, Germany, and here France is just abbreviated FRAN. And we'd like to fix that. We'd like to take all instances where the country is spelled FRAN and spell it out fully as France, FRANCE. That's more than just a simple search and replace, because if we search for FRAN and replace, then that's going to end up replacing in France as well. So let's fix that. That's very easy to do. What we do is we're going to search for all cases where text ends. Here we are, by the way, in the select pane. Text ends with, in the country field, where the text ends with FRAN. So that's going to work for FRAN, but it's not going to work for FRANCE. Manifold Future helpfully previews what it's about to do in the table for us, so we can see if we've made any errors. That looks about right, so we click Replace Selection, and there, we've selected all the records where in the country field there's FRAN. Now let's switch to the Transform pane, where we're going to click this Restricted Selection option, and we're going to operate on the field called Country, and what we will do is we will copy into that field a value. Now you can copy from an existing string, for example, from one thing to another. For example, I'm going to copy the cities field. It'll show you what it will do there. But we don't want to do that. We're going to copy a literal. What we're going to do is we're going to copy the value FRANCE. There, once again, Manifold helpfully previews what it's about to do. So let's click Update Field, and we're done. Now, I want to emphasize that in the two steps that we've just done, this particular table is a small table. It's only 280 fields. It's a very small table. But if we were to operate on a table that is a very much larger table, say billions of records, this stuff would still work absolutely perfectly. It doesn't matter that we're only looking at it one screen at a time. It'll apply to the entire table, all billions of records. So if we were to select something using select, that would select from all those billions of records. If we were to transform something, that would transform all those billions of records, whether they are on screen or not. And let me demonstrate how that works. We're looking at the screen here, the same map that we used for the Boston video, where we showed how to import data from OpenStreetMap for Boston, where we used a PBF format, and we split out a lines drawing and an area drawing in it from the combined Boston, Massachusetts ways drawing. What we're going to do is we're going to work with the areas drawing here, and since I don't want to mess up my data here, I'm going to make a copy of that areas drawing. And to do that, I copy the table and I pasted it. So it's about 270,000 records. And then I right click on that and I choose New Drawing, create a drawing. Now I can open that drawing. It opens with default formatting. And what I will do is undock it so that I can open up two windows side by side to see both the drawing window and the drawings table at the same time. Okay, so let's open up the table as well. Boston Areas 2, that's the table for that drawing. Undock that as well. And that too I will resize and move over here. Great. Now what let's demonstrate is how, even though this table is limited, out of 270,000 records, it only shows Control End, the first 50,000 or so. And we do that because there's absolutely no point in showing tables that are, I don't know, miles long, which it would be. Since you can't possibly scroll through them one page at a time. It's just like here. This is the drawing here is really it's a summary. You don't actually see all points for every object in the drawing until you zoom far in. And when you zoom out, what you're seeing is kind of a summary representation. Just so in tables, when you look at tables, if you're actually working with tables that are many miles long, and manifold tables could easily be many miles long, a table with 1 billion records on it, and it is over 8,000 kilometers long, so it's like, from France to Beijing, in terms of scrolling through screens this size. So you're not going to scroll through that, you need a summary of it. And that's what these things are designed to do. They're designed to provide very fast summaries so you can work effectively. Anyway, be that as it may, let's select a bunch of records here. And, oops, I zoomed in. There you go, Control to select that. And so we've selected all those records here, and some of them in the screen that are of the sample that are here in the screen have also been selected. We can take a closer look by choosing a filter, View, Filter, and just look only at the selected records. Now we're not seeing all the records. If we zoom down to the bottom here, we see that this little indicator indicates that there's still some selected records that are not being displayed, because this is way more than 50,000 records there. That's okay, that's cool. Let's reduce the number of records that we're looking at here by right-clicking on Null and add a filter for name not null. So now we're looking at all the records here. If we look at the filter arrangements, which are selected and for which the name is not null. That's a rather limited set of records. But that's only pulled from the records that we originally fetched. So if we wanted to see all of them, and not just these, we could uncheck this, and Manifold will go out there and it'll pull down all the records from the entire data set which are not null and which have been selected. So at any time, if you want to take a look at any of these things, you can at all times work with any of them or work with all of them. If we like, we can apply the transform toolbar as well. So for example, let's choose the transform pane. So here's a transform pane, and let's change the name, what's in the name, and we'll do that by choosing name as the target field. And then here I'll choose copy. And what I'll do is I'll put the name, new name. Now, if I just clicked Update Field here, it would apply to all records. So instead, let's restrict it to the selection. And that's going to update the name of the field for all the records that are in here to new name. So choose Update Field, and bang. It's done. It's that quick. Here what we can do is we can view, refresh. And as you can see, they're all new name at this point. Let's change the filters a little bit. So let's change to selected records, and you can see all the selected records are new name. There you go. That's a quick example of how, even though you may think you're only seeing some of the records, you actually have the ability to work with all of them. That this table is the table window is an interface that allows you to kind of zoom in onto those records that are of greater interest without trying to clobber you with a table that is with a table window display that is so large you can't physically possibly scroll through it. Because if this table really was stretching in this size format, so many screens that they would reach from Paris to Beijing, you wouldn't get from Paris out to the center of Paris out to the periphery before you gave up trying to scroll through the thing, let alone get all the way to Germany, and let alone get all the way through Central Asia to Beijing. So this is a user interface tool that enables you to digest extremely large tables in a workable, friendly way while still having access to all the data absolutely all the time. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it's been comprehensible. And for more, visit the Manifold Sales channel on YouTube. Thank you for watching, and goodbye from Manifold Futureland. Well, that was fun. If you want to see more, visit us at www.manifold.net. As always, Manifold delivers the world's most advanced, highest quality spatial products for GIS and DBMS at a low price that you can afford. Once again, that's manifold.net. See you soon.